What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of the Channel 8 podcast. I'm your host, Sean Go, and today I'm welcoming to the show Leanne Quick, but you might know her as one of Melbourne, Australia's top fashion and sneaker influencer and YouTubers, better known as Monsieur Banana. How's it going?
Good, how are you? And I have to say, you pronounced my last name like perfectly. I feel like nobody like really knows how to pronounce my last name, but yeah, you did really
What's
good.
your background, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm Malaysian. So I grew up in Malaysia, but I've been living in Australia for like the last like 14
Ah,
years. Yeah.
so that surname is a pretty typical Malaysian last name,
I
or?
don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Okay, yeah, because I've never
It's a
heard
bit
that
of a weird
before,
one.
but I'm glad I got it right.
Yeah, no, it was perfect.
Cool. So usually how I start off the show is just by asking you, what shoes have you been wearing in the past week or so? What's been in your rotation?
I don't know if you've seen my video, but I just picked up the ambush dunks, like these ones over here, in the deep royal blue colorway. So I've been wearing this the last 2 days. But I've also been wearing like the Sakai Vapor Waffles a lot. I think they're super comfy. I saw that you posted a video about the sesame colorway. I didn't get a pair of those, unfortunately. And then I've also been wearing the Yeezy 450s. And I feel like that's pretty much it. Like my rotation isn't always that exciting. Like sometimes I just wear my typical like beaters. So I actually wear like Vomeros, like my Vomero fives a lot.
If you don't mind me asking, how big is your collection? I've always wondered.
I feel like it's definitely not as big as yours. I can see all the sneaker boxes behind you and just looks like there's so many pairs. But I've never actually sat down to count all my sneakers. Like I just kind of they're like everywhere in my apartment. Even though this view you can't see anything,
I was gonna say it
everywhere
looks like
else it's actually like a bit of like it's a little bit chaotic everywhere else where I used to have all my sneakers in like one part of my apartment, but then that got filled up, and then as soon as that fills up I just start shoving them elsewhere. And I'm also really bad in the sense that I don't really like sell it. I don't really sell a lot of my sneakers, so I'm a
yeah.
bit of like a sneaker hoarder, if you will.
I think a lot of us are kind
um
of like that.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like my collection's quite small compared to yours.
Honestly, though, I sometimes I wish it was a more manageable number, just because it's so overwhelming and it's hard for me to pick and choose every morning what I want to wear. But
Yeah.
for me, like my rotation this week has been pretty heavily off white by coincidence. So I started off the week, I wore the off white Nike Blazer, the All Hallows Eve colorway, the yellow and orange one.
Yep.
And then I followed that up with the Nike Dunk Low Plum colorway. And then I wore the off white, the original Zoom Fly from the first 10 collection. I do want to say for that shoe though, if for anyone listening that has not tried that on, it fits really small. So definitely size up a full size if you're looking to splash into the secondary market and grab those, because they kill my feet. And then on Thursday, I wore the Adidas ZX 8000 in the light aqua and purple colorway, just a GR pair that, I love the colorway, so love that one. And then today, that we're recording this on Friday, I wore the off-white Air Jordan 5 in the sail colorway. So that's been my week.
So good. I mean, do you wear a different pair of sneakers every day? That's so good.
I try to, just because like my collection is pretty massive, and
Yeah.
if I don't like make myself wear something new every single day, then I just end up wearing the same beaters at my door every single time. So it's kind of makes me get some variety on my in my rotation.
I just wear what I have by my door. So I just keep constantly wearing the same things. But when I do pick up things, I get very excited. So I'll keep wearing the same thing. And then after a while, I just move on to something else, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I do wear like some of my other sneakers when I don't know, when I have somewhere to go, even though I have nowhere to go. But I try and obviously wear majority of my sneakers.
Because you guys in Australia, you're not locked down anymore, right? Are things
Yeah, we're
open up?
not. Yeah.
How was the whole experience? Was it pretty strict at first, and then you guys got over it pretty fast, or?
Well, there was like a long period where we were locked down last year, and then they would extend it. But I personally loved it. I don't know whether I'm just like such a homebody, so I didn't really mind like staying home, and I'm just like so entertained by myself for some reason. And then it's nice that everything is, sort of back to normal right now. But what about yourself in Canada?
It's been pretty up and down. I think we kind of half-assed the lockdown. So
Yeah.
then once the numbers kind of go down, we open things up and then numbers go back up and then we lock down again. So hopefully I
Mm.
think we're on the brink of opening up, I think in a couple weeks. So fingers crossed, like this is it, because I think people are kind of fed up and I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how much more people can take.
Yeah. I know what you mean, but yeah.
Anyways, moving on. We're not talking about COVID
Yeah.
here. Sneaker pickups. Anything you've picked up notably in the past week or so?
I have to say, my game has not been very strong lately. I've entered so many raffles and I just keep getting else. So when I won the raffles for the ambush dunks, I was super surprised, super, super happy with that one. And I was just thinking to myself the other day, I was like, I haven't been picking up that many sneakers. So generally, I tend to buy at least 1 or 2 pairs of sneakers a week. But just the last like few weeks, I've just game hasn't been that strong. I really want the Amar Manera threes, and I couldn't get a pair for retail. I saw that you already done a video on them. I tried getting the Sting Water dunks, also L's. So yeah, I haven't really been picking up anything. I mean, I was a little bit late to the game with the Jordan 4 taupe haze. I think that's such a nice colorway.
Yeah,
I got them
beautiful.
maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's a little bit late because it released, I feel like more than a month
It was a
ago.
while ago, but
But
better late than
yeah,
never. At least you
yeah.
have it. Yeah. So I guess a lot of people may be surprised. What you're saying is you don't have one of those plugs that gives you everything you need, and you actually enter raffles like a regular person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't actually have um I feel like that's probably one of the questions I get asked a lot is like, how do I cop sneakers? And for the most part,
Yep.
I just do it like everyone else. Like I just enter raffles, sneakers I've given up on online. Like I've given up trying to cop sneakers online. So I just go and enter raffles. And whatever there are certain sneakers where I can obtain, not easily, but I do maybe have a plug for some certain releases, but for the most part, I just enter raffles and I just do the one raffle and hope for the best. Yeah.
How often do you pay resale though, or are you like one of those strictly retail or nothing kind of buyers?
Like everyone else, we want to pay retail for these sneakers, but it's really difficult. And last year, I would have to say, was the year that I've spent the most on resale. So in the past, I've always been pretty lucky for some reason, and I was able to cop majority of my sneakers for retail. And when like Yeezys were really difficult to get, I was really lucky, and I got, I would say, majority of them for retail. But last year with the SB Dunks, like they were too tough, and I just really wanted them. Like I just feel like I had to have them in my collection. Like last year, I just feel like, I couldn't end the year without purchasing selected dunk releases, like SB dunk releases. I cannot leave 2020 without having these in my collection. So I just, went for it. They were so expensive. The bank account is a little bit sad. Um, but yeah, so I have to pay resale for most things recently. So I haven't been that lucky. Yeah.
Good to know Monsieur Banana is a regular person.
I am. No plugs.
um, yeah. Anything else you picked up, or was that it?
That's pretty much it. I'm really trying to think here, but I mean, I picked up some of like the GR, like dunks. So like the sort of Syracuse kind of colorway and the highs. Actually, a friend got that for me, and they got it at the Nike employee store for 40% off.
What? Oh wow!
Yeah, how wild is that?
I didn't know there's an Australia Nike employee store. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
so that's an employee store that I've never been to, but I think you have to know someone to go there. But I think it's 40% off everything, and
Wow.
what they have there changes all the time. And my friend caught me a pair of dunks for like 40% off. So how could I say no?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
getting them at retail is great enough, but like 40% off is even better.
Yeah, I thought that was wild. I was like, how is that in the employee store? But I thought that was amazing. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really picked up anything.
That's cool. So for me, let's see. I'm all about Excel, so I have it all in a sheet. So I'm just reading off my list here. So
I love
first
that.
pickup, I got the Sakai Nike Vapor Waffle Sesame, like you said. I picked up the Air Jordan 1 Shadow 2.0.
Hmm.
The New Balance 1500 in the Desert Scape colorway. I think this is just like a GR New Balance 1500, but beauties. For those that are listening, I posted a review on that on my channel as well. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. I also picked up another New Balance. This one is the 5740 in the Gray Day colorway, which dropped last weekend, I believe. And the last pickup I got was the Air Jordan 11 Low Women's in the Citrus colorway.
And did you get all these for retail?
Yes. Yes. It's been a retail only
Amazing.
week this week, so pretty blessed.
Yeah, very lucky.
One question for you though. Those Syracuse Dunk Highs. What do you think of the quality?
Huge difference from the ones that released last year. All the dunks that are, I guess, more GR this year, the leather is sort of quite synthetic. Does that make
Yes,
sense? Like it just not
very,
as
very.
flexible, it's not as soft, it's a bit plasticky looking. Um, but I try and justify in the sense that the retail for the dunks are like
That's true.
150 Australian dollars. And the colorways are great. I would say that even though if they've been coming up with so many like dunks, I feel like there hasn't been a colorway that I feel like, oh, it's not that great. But I've missed a lot of them. I think they're, super wearable. Um, Not that accessible because the resellers are still onto it. Like here in Melbourne, like I always miss out on everything. And I just go by when I see people when I'm in the city and I see people carrying lots of like Nike bags or Foot Locker bags, I already know I missed it. I already know I missed a release and I'll just go to them. Or like there are a lot of familiar faces that I know and I always just ask them, I'm like, what did I miss out? Just tell me. Tell me what I missed out on. Because they tend to do like random drops here at the Nike store with the dunks.
Is there one Nike store in the entire city or
There's a few, but there's just like two main ones. And then there's obviously like Foot Locker and stuff like that. So I would have to say, I really feel like my game is not that strong this year. Like I feel like there's so many drops that sometimes I feel like I can't keep up with.
it's that COVID rust? You got to shake that off.
I think it is. But I also feel like I generally only go for sneakers that I really, really want, if that makes any sense. So if there are certain releases that I'm not all that interested in, I'm not going to go for it. I don't enter any raffles because I don't buy sneakers. I know some people enter raffles and if they hit, they'll try and make some money off it. But that's just not my vibe. If I don't want it, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah.
Whereas when I enter a raffle for something, that means I really, really want it. But I feel like the key to winning a raffle is that when you don't expect to win it, that's when you're going to win it. Whereas like, if you want something too badly, I never win it.
So how big of a city is Melbourne?
It's quite a small city, especially when you compare it to, somewhere like New York or LA or Tokyo or something like that. But it's a really nice place. It's chill. It's great food, great coffee. Have you been to Australia before?
Never been, but one day, hopefully.
It's just really great. And it's just really far from everything else. So that's the only downside. But other than that, I really love it here.
And is the community, like the sneaker community down there, pretty tight knit? Like, does everyone kind of know each other, or it's not to that level?
I think to an extent, yes. But I also feel like I'm like in my own little bubble, if that makes any sense. And I do see familiar faces when I go to like in-store raffles because now it can be a thing again, which is really great. It's one of the things that I missed. So, I've gone to a few like in-store raffles for some SB dunks, and you always see the same familiar faces, whether they're resellers or collectors and stuff. So it's really great. Then you can always chat with people there. So I would say the sneaker community is quite small in my opinion, but I'm sure there's way more that I don't know about. Like I said, I'm in my own little bubble and I just collect sneakers because I love them. And I just like make videos about them just to share what I love.
So do people recognize you and they come up to you and talk to you?
Sometimes, yes. And I'm always so humble when people come to me and be like, oh, do you make videos? I'm like, you watch me? So yeah, That's happened sometimes, not very often, but I'm just so grateful that people even watch my content, because when I first started my YouTube channel, I was just thinking like, nobody's going to watch this, but I just, I thought I'd just give it a go. What about yourself?
Same thing, like whenever someone comes up to me or runs into me and mentions that they're a fan of my work, it's like you said, it's very humbling. I think we're just regular people. We just decide to
Yeah.
post videos online, and people just happen to like what we post. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's move on to my brand new channel flipping segment, which is a rapid fire Q&A session where I give you two options and you pick the
Mm-hmm.
one option that you're feeling the most. So there's only
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 10 questions for you. So just off the top of your head, just pick one. All right.
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. So Nike Dunks or Nike Air Force Ones?
Dunks.
Air Jordans or Air Max?
Jordans.
Adidas Yeezy or Nike Off-White?
I feel like there's like a timer going to be like, quick, answer the question. Nike Off-White, sorry.
Adidas Yeezy Foam Runner or the Yeezy Slide?
Foam runners.
Kith or Supreme?
Kith.
Baggy clothes or fitted clothes?
100% baggy clothes.
High socks or no shows?
High socks.
Fried chicken or burgers?
It's just a trick question. Both?
Gotta pick one.
Fried chicken.
Fried
Fried
chicken?
chicken. Fried chicken.
Brownies or cupcakes?
Brownies.
And last one, fashion or food?
Fashion. I want to say food because I love food, but
You have
I
like
also
the
love
ultimate
fashion.
look of guilt.
I know. I'm like, I feel like I picked the wrong answer, but I'll say fashion.
Fashion. Okay, cool. The
Yeah.
reason why I asked fashion or food for anyone listening that doesn't know, so I did some digging, I guess you could say. And apparently, Monsieur Banana, before the streetwear and sneakers, was a food-based YouTube channel.
You are correct. You are correct.
How did the food become what you are now?
So I've always loved food and cooking and baking and stuff like that. And I also like watched a lot of cooking shows. Like that is actually the only kind of shows I used to watch. And it was really lame because people would ask me, like, have you seen this movie or this TV show? I'm like, no. And they're like, what do you watch? I'm like, I like cooking shows. And so when I first started my channel, I hope no one goes to my channel and watches my old videos because it's super cringy. But I feel like now that we've, brought it up, people might go see it. It's okay.
You're actually pretty well produced, I gotta say.
That was when I first was trying to learn how to edit videos and like filming. I was pretty clueless. I feel like I'm still clueless, but I try my best. And when I first started making content on YouTube, I did food because it was what I was like really interested in. And like I said, I watched a lot of cooking shows and I just loved it. And even though at that time I was into sneakers, I just wanted to try making content about food. And then over time, you can see that on my channel, it progressed to like maybe a bit of lifestyle vlogs. And then I did sneaker content. And then I noticed that the sneaker content was performing much better compared to the others. So I thought, hey, maybe I can focus on this. And I feel like early on with my channel, I was just trying to figure out what works and what I wanted to create. And I was actually really hesitant about creating a YouTube channel because, like I said, I just feel like, why would anyone want to watch me? But the early stages as well was good because no matter how good or how bad your videos are, no one's really going to see it, if that makes any sense, unless you make like a really like viral video or something that's really relevant and it's somehow like, YouTube recommends it. If you're a new channel, it can be a little bit tricky to get the views. So I feel like that's a good time it was a good time for me to experiment what works and what doesn't. And then at that time, there was this whole Yeezy wave and I was trying really hard. I would be at every single raffle you can think of. They were all Insta at that time and I would be at every single raffle and I was just buying all these sneakers and I'm like, I really want to share this because I was just posting on Instagram. But I think YouTube was a really great platform where, I can be creative and also, I don't know, just share things that I like.
I think it was a Balenciaga Triple S video that sort of went viral for you. Was that or not really?
Yeah, that's actually, it's funny that you brought that up, but that was actually one of my earlier videos that did really well. And usually when I post a video, I never want to see it again. If that make, do you ever watch your videos again? Because once I
Never.
post,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, I can't even stand like listening to my own voice or like watching myself. So once I've uploaded and done the job, I don't really look back, but I did see like the views and there were comments and stuff. And I was like, wow, this video is actually doing surprisingly well, especially when my channel was quite new.
Mhm.
So I guess that was quite encouraging as well. And at that time, I was very, very excited for the Balenciaga Triple S because at that time, to me, Balenciaga was at the top of its game. And the fact that a sneaker that was like $1,200, like people were so hyped for something that expensive, and in terms of the silhouette and how it looked as well, that video did really well and people were generally really interested in that sneaker, and that really encouraged me to do more sneaker content. And then I also did a lot of Yeezy videos, so during that time I would try my best to do a video on every single Yeezy release, every single colorway. I feel like my channel, or like me personally, I really tried my best to get every single colorway. If I could get it early, even better. And it also helps in terms of the time zones where Australia is kind of like
That's
a day
true.
ahead.
Yeah.
So like it always seems like it's early, but it's not that early only because of the time difference. But I always try my best. Like I would stay up all night. If I got the shoes like on the day itself, that means I'm still a little bit early than like the States. So, I will always be a little bit early than, people in other time zones. So I would do my best to get that content out because I feel like people are interested. The buzz is around that sneaker, especially just before it drops. People want to see what it looks like and whether they should cop a pair. So that was, a lot of Yeezys, a lot of Yeezy videos on my channel.
So I'm sure both of us can agree, like timing is so important for YouTube, and it can have such a big difference in the performance of your video if you can get it up even an hour earlier than someone
Definitely.
else. So is YouTube like your main like bread and butter, or is it still just like a side hobby and a side passion for you?
I would love for it to be my main bread and butter, but YouTube is not paying the bills to be able to buy all these sneakers. Like it gets really expensive. So I do have I do have other work that I do. And then all my free time I dedicate to YouTube. But it's also, I guess you would call a hobby. I really enjoy doing it. I feel like I love filming videos. I actually love editing videos, even though I don't think I'm that good at it. And I spend a lot of time. But it's just something that I love doing. And, sometimes I do a bit more like lookbook style kind of things. And that takes a lot more time. But I just enjoy the whole process. And I feel like it's been really rewarding. And I feel like starting a YouTube channel is definitely one of the best decisions I've made. And just like the community is so nice. I like love interacting with people that leave comments. And it's just such a great space.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. It's for me, it's also like my side thing. Just a hobby, still a passion project for me. And I think as long as we're both enjoying what we do and enjoying the
Yeah.
process, then that's really all that should matter.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important to like have a passion for it. Because I don't know if people think that we're doing this for like money or whatever, like that is so
They don't
not
pay
the
that
case.
well. They do not pay
That's
that
the
well.
thing. I know, because I always get like comments saying like, like she's sponsored or like she's getting paid. And I'm just like, guys, if someone wants to sponsor me, that would be great. But yeah, I just share things that I love, like I said.
How did you get into sneakers and streetwear in the first place? Like, was it something you've always been interested even before Instagram and YouTube, or is it something you've kind of developed a taste for over the years?
So so I would say like I was really into sneakers like in the mid 2000s, which probably makes me sound a little bit old, but Maybe cut that part out.
Honestly, we're probably around the same age. I'm probably even older
Yeah,
than you though.
I'm just like an old person. Anyway,
We'll
anyway,
just say
um,
we're 20 and 21.
um, so yeah, so I grew up watching a lot of, this story might sound a little bit weird, but I grew up watching like a lot of MTVs, and I was like highly influenced by like 2000s Pharrell, Kanye, that kind of thing. And they were all wearing like really, really fresh fits with the Bape and the Bape stars. And I remember just thinking like, I need those sneakers. And I bought my very first pair of Bape stars in like 2006 or 5.
Was this in Australia already, or you're?
No. So I was living in Malaysia, but they didn't have a Bape store there. They had one in Hong Kong when I went there for holiday. And that was a time where Bape was pretty hard to get. If you didn't have one in the city, like the internet, buying things online wasn't quite the thing at that time as well.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was in Hong Kong, I remember thinking to myself, like, I need to go to the Bape store and I need to cop a pair of sneakers. And I still remember what the Bape store looks like, because I was just so like impressed with like the design and just the whole vibe of the store. And I remember at that time the sneakers were like really expensive as well. I don't remember the exact price, but they were definitely like a higher price
way more
point.
expensive than normal. Yeah.
Yeah. Way more expensive than just your general like Nike, Adidas kind of thing. But I feel like that's probably my first pair of hype sneakers at that time. And then since then, I've always been really into sneakers, but I've also been through many different phases in terms of my style. So it's just shocking when you look back at old photos and you're like, what was I thinking? I had like a full on Ed Hardy face. Like, it's shocking. But anyway, let's not go there. And so I had different phases, and I wasn't really collecting too many. I would buy sneakers. Like, I was really had a Bape Star moment. I even have like the SpongeBob like Roadsters from like years ago I've never worn. And then I feel like when Kanye did the whole like Louis Vuitton and like the Air Yeezys and stuff, I really started to get more interested in sneakers again. However, I don't have any of them. And then also, I don't think many people know this, but I actually studied fashion design at uni.
Oh, nice.
So in my final year of uni, one of my tutors is the designer for a brand called Perks and Mini. So it's called Pam here in Australia. It's an Australian brand. I think it's pretty well known. So Pam and Shauna, who's one of the co-founder of the brand, was my tutor. And obviously that brand is very streetwear. And that really like sparked my interest in streetwear again, because like I said, I had different style phases. But I think after, I don't know, doing that and having her as my tutor, and just learning about the brand, I just loved it. And ever since then, I feel like my style has pretty much stayed the same. So it's been quite a few years. And I just always dress like that. And in terms of footwear as well, like I was just thinking to myself, like, I don't wear any other kind of footwear except for sneakers, maybe the occasional slides, but it's pretty much sneakers.
So your channel has grown, I'd say it's pretty fast, starting from when you actually decide to focus on streetwear and sneakers till now. You're at what, like almost 80K subs, right? Somewhere around there. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, maybe 70. But yeah, thank you.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that you face or have faced as a creator, and not just being any YouTube creator, but you're also obviously a female and we're both visible minorities. So has that put you in sort of a unique position?
So I think for the most part, it's been pretty good. I know when I first started making sneaker content, I did feel a little bit intimidated about posting content about sneakers, because I did think like, would anybody care to watch a video, especially, coming from a female's perspective? But at the same time, I do feel like the sneaker industry is quite male dominant, even though it's changing right now, which is really, really great. So I did feel a little bit intimidated to post content, but at the same time, I just feel like for me, when I watch other content creators, I don't really see them as like, oh, it's like a guy doing sneakers about video, or is it a girl? Like, if I'm genuinely interested in a product and I like the person that's, talking about the product, then I would just watch it. So that was the approach that I went for. I'm like, I like this, so hopefully someone can feel the same way and they'll watch my content. So I feel like, people that watch my content, they're really, really great and they're super nice to me. And I do get the occasional mean comments, especially when I was doing a lot of Yeezy videos and when my, channel was growing and you'd get more people watching your videos. I would always get comments saying like, who is she and why does she have all these shoes? Or I would always get accused of like having fake sneakers because I would get them like somewhat early, not super early, but they were somewhat early. So, people, I guess, would always, want to think of something negative to say.
Yep.
But for me, I feel like that never really affected me, because the good comments definitely outweighs the bad comments. And I feel like, it's okay to have a little bit of hate comments. I feel like you're probably doing something right if someone is, leaving like negative comments. So I kind of just, I don't really care for them. It's fine. People can think what they want. So I think overall, like, it's been really great. I don't think I've had too many like obstacles or like challenges. Like, everyone's been really nice, or maybe I just don't see it. I'm just so like, I'm just so focused on just like creating my content and just sharing it. And, if people like it, then they like it.
I think both our communities are pretty positive, and like for the most part, 99% of the comments that are left on my videos they're good things, and they're
Yeah.
and even if they're criticisms, it's not like they're not saying like something personal about me or
Yeah.
calling me out or something. It's like, hey, maybe you can consider doing this or showing this next time for future videos. And I'm like, yeah, that's a valid criticism, and it's something I'll definitely consider implementing in the future, right? So I think it's more so like a testament to the quality of the content that we're creating, and that people are appreciative of our work.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Another thing I want to point out is that I also feel like the sneaker community can be a little bit of like a gatekeeping culture. So that's how I felt when I first started. So
100%.
I was so afraid of like talking about certain sneakers because I was so afraid if I said something wrong, or if I didn't know something, someone would come for me and be like, you don't know anything, you shouldn't be talking about this. And so when I was doing a lot of Yeezy videos, and they were like all Adidas Yeezy videos, I felt really comfortable talking about them because I pretty much had not every, but majority of the silhouettes that would come out, whether it's a 350, 350 V2, 500, 700, I had all of them. So I felt super comfortable talking about that. But then there were certain sneakers that would get like Jordans and stuff, and I would never really show it on my channel because I was so afraid that people would be like, what do you know? Why are you talking about that? But then I came to realize that, we're all sort of learning, and I never come on my channel saying like, I know everything about this, and, these are all facts. Like, if I don't know something, the comments are great because people will go there and tell you and not tell you off. They're like, say it in a nice way. Like, if you didn't know, this about the sneaker, you can look this up. So I think it's really great. But yeah, so that is why I slowly started sharing like other things other than Adidas Yeezys. And then with the whole like, Nike SB Dunks, like hype reemergence last year, a lot of the comments that I was getting was just like, you don't even skate. Or like, because with the Nike SBs, there's so much history with that, and people that were collecting sneakers, like, they have like a wild SB collection, and I can understand where they're coming from as well. They see like, a new face in the space, and, they always want to think like, does she know anything? But do I? I don't know.
You fake it till you make it. So looking forward, where do you want to take your channel? Like, I know for me personally, I'm not the type of guy that's that ambitious in a way. Like I'm like content with what I have, which is kind of bad. But like, I don't really look too down into the future. I don't have these big goals of being like 1 million subscribers or anything like that. Like, I'm just happy riding the wave. But for you, are you envisioning yourself anywhere in 5-10 years down the road with this, or?
I feel like this is like a life question. Like, like when your parents sit you down and be like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? No, I'm joking.
This makes or breaks the entire interview.
No, it's a really great question. Um, and for me, like I would love to be able to do like YouTube full time and just create content because I like love it. And so hopefully one day my channel does well enough that it can support my sneaker buying
Gotta get
habits.
those sponsors. That's what you need.
um, I know. Someone sponsor us, please. So I would love to grow my channel and be able to do this full time. I would love to, collaborate with more content creators. So I really appreciate you for, including me in your podcast and in your video today. I'm super
Yeah, no
thank you so
worries. My
much.
pleasure.
And yeah, I would love to like collaborate with other content creators. Hopefully when the world gets back to normal again, we can all travel. um I always wanted to attend like a complex con. I know that sounds like quite random, but I would love to go to a complex con. Have you ever been to a
No,
complex
but when I
con?
think of Complex Con, all I think of is people like running from the doors to get to whatever lineup, whatever the hype lineup is. That's what I envision.
That's true, that's true. um but yeah, I would actually love to attend one of those ones. um Yeah, I feel like that's probably not a very big goal. It's just like a little small goal. But yeah, I would love to like, just maybe work with more brands and companies. I think that would be great. But yeah, I'll just, take things as they come. And I think the most important thing is to just enjoy the journey and enjoy what you're doing. And, you never know, like, things may change over time, but I just don't see my content not being sneaker related or not being, I don't want to say like hype beast related, but I also do love like collectibles. I don't know if you can see in the background. I love cores, things like that. So I just want to share like what I'm interested in, and this is what I'm interested in. And hopefully other people feel the same way.
Maybe we'll see the return of a cooking show one day.
I actually do get comments of people saying like, it's been a long time since you've like, done any cooking or baking, like do a video. So maybe in the future, I'll try and incorporate a bit of like a sneaker hype cooking kind of a vibe. We'll see. We'll see.
Any last tips you want to share for any aspiring YouTubers or content creators on Instagram?
Just do it. So I know one of the questions that I get asked a lot is that people want to start a YouTube channel, but they're like afraid of starting one. And I feel like there is no, like the sooner you start, the better. That's how I feel. Like just do it. And even if you feel like you may not be that confident in front of a camera, there's always editing, because people ask me as well. They're like, how do you get so confident talking in front of camera? I'm like, I'm not.
Oh yeah, I'm
um,
I'm still terrified in front of the camera, so editing does wonders.
yeah. And I feel like it's definitely a learning process, but I feel like it's just something that you just need to get started on, and also test out whether it's something that you enjoy doing, because you may consume a lot of YouTube, but some people are not sure whether they want to create it, but you always have to try it to know. So I would say just go for it and just find your niche as well, regardless of what it is, whether you like sneakers like myself, or you like fashion, makeup, food, whatever it is. Like just find your niche, because if you're interested in something, there's tons more people out there who are interested, that want to watch videos about it. Yeah, and I feel like the same goes to Instagram. It's just pretty much just be consistent, even though I'm not. This is terrible advice I'm giving you guys.
Do you shoot your own pictures, or do you have like someone that takes your photos?
So generally it's kind of like I hang out with my friend and I'm like, can you take my outfit today? Or like depending, like I have other things that when I get new sneakers and stuff, I think it's important. Again, it's a lot of a timing kind of thing when it comes to wanting to hit the algorithm, and what's hype is like, when the hype is around a certain sneaker, it's good to be posting about that. So yeah, I shoot my own photos if it's not me in the photo. If it's like just a product shot or anything like that, then I shoot all my own content. But if I need to do an outfit or something, I just generally get my friend, or I have like a really good photographer friend that helps me shoot photos, and some of my videos as well. He shoots them when I do like a little bit of a lookbook style. But yeah, I think just mainly just do things that you like.
That pretty much nails it. Um, the last question I had, which I actually should have asked you as the first question, I just
Yes.
completely slipped my mind. Why, like, why Monsieur Banana? Like, what does this mean? Where did it come from?
This is the most random name. Probably not that interesting of a story, but I will tell it anyway. So, my name started off as my Instagram handle name. And this was when Instagram was just starting, like it was kind of a new thing. And I actually refused to make an Instagram like profile. And my friend kept saying, like, can you please make an Instagram profile so that I can like tag you in random things and I can show you stuff. And at that time, the only other like social media platform was probably Facebook. And I was already dead on Facebook. Like I'm not even that active, right? So I had the idea that Instagram was something similar where you have to have friends and then you share things like that. Because I feel like now Instagram is definitely a different space. But when it first started, you know, I saw it as maybe similar to Facebook. So I was thinking to myself, I don't need another platform to be dead on. But because my friend was, insisted on me creating a profile so I can be tagged in things, I was like, all right, let's be anonymous on this platform. So then I was thinking, all right, come up with a random name. And as weird as it sounds, I was just like, it has to be banana because I really like banana printed things. Like, I just think it looks really cute. I know that sounds really weird, but like banana like character things, so like things with banana and like yellow is just such a happy color. So I was like, okay, it has to be banana or something. And then I was like, I don't want it to be like Miss Banana. That's kind of weird. So I was like, Monsieur sounds kind of cool. Yeah, okay. And it was kind of like, I think I'm gonna go with Monsieur Banana. And then so that was my Instagram handle. And then I kind of just stuck with it. And then when I started my YouTube channel, I was like, I guess it's going to be the same name. And the thing is, like, a lot of people don't really even know that my real name's Leanne. Like, they generally just call me Banana, which is fine. So, yeah, like, people come, like, this doesn't happen very often, but sometimes, people that watch my content, like, they see me and they approach me and be like, are you Banana? And I'm like, yes.
That's amazing, though. I wish I had a nickname like that. That'd be pretty dope.
But yeah, so that's the story of Monsieur Banana.
I'm way off. I thought the banana was a nod to the fact like you're Asian on the outside and like whitewashed on the inside or something. That's what I thought.
Oh my god! No, I know what you mean though. Yeah. I actually never thought of that. Like the whole banana thing was just so random. I'm like, I like banana printed things. I think they look kind of cute. All right, I'm just gonna go with banana. No, I feel like yours kind of makes sense though. Yours definitely makes sense.
So for our listeners that want to find you, where can they watch your videos? Where can they see you on Instagram?
So I am Monsieur Banana on YouTube as well as Instagram. And yeah, I post content about sneakers and like streetwear, fashion, art, styling kind of things. So if you guys are interested, I hope you check it out.
Right on. And for myself, for anyone that wants to watch my YouTube videos, you can find me at youtube.com/SeanGo. I'm on Instagram as well at esgo8 and on Twitter, which I use but not too often, at Sean.go spelled out. So thank you, Leanne. It was a pleasure having you. I learned a lot about you and hopefully our listeners did too.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you everyone for listening, and we'll catch you guys in episode 16 coming next week.